All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Stove. This is episode 5. I'm Jacob. This is David. We now have 2 mics, so we have now upgraded. We're back, and we're even better now.
Yeah, we're big time.
Yeah, we're big time now.
I wouldn't be surprised if we had 1,000 subs by the end of the week.
Oh yeah, we got 6 fans. We're getting in. We're becoming a big deal out here.
7.
Oh, 7. We're becoming a big deal.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, we are. Anyway, so let's start off with the NBA playoffs. Let's start with tonight, since there's 2 playing games tonight. We start with the Nets and the Cavs. The Nets open up as a 9.5 point favorite over the Cavs for obvious reasons. Who you got?
Between who?
The Nets and the Cavs.
Oh, the Nets. I have the Nets. Just because the sheer fact that the Nets have Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant on the same team, even though they don't play defense ever, I think they'll just be able to outscore the Cavaliers.
I agree.
I don't think Evan Mobley and Darius Garland will be able to outplay Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant.
Yeah, even though Darius Garland he's been incredible this year. I don't think people understand how good he's been. He's been averaging like 25 the last 20 games.
Yeah.
He's shooting over 40% from 3 right now, like almost 90% from the free throw line, 47% from the field. He's really good.
Yeah, he's playing out of his mind.
But they don't have Durant, and the Nets do. So I got the Nets. And
I agree.
Then we got the Clippers and the Timberwolves.
Timberwolves all the way.
Timberwolves open as a 3.5 point favorite.
Yes.
As much as I'm going to pick the Clippers, I'm going to pick the Timberwolves.
Yes.
Because
we have Cat.
No, well, it's not just that. It's just I don't think the Clippers, they don't have Kawhi, so I just don't see
Who knows?
Winning.
He could just pop up out of nowhere.
Yeah, he could. But it is
which is scary.
O2 Tahoe or whatever he drives. Yeah, I got the Timberwolves. They open as a 3.5 point favorite. I think they cover that, and I think they win. I don't think the Nets will cover that.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be any shed of defense played in that game at all, especially because the Timberwolves are one of the worst defensive teams in NBA history. But next to the Nets, they're probably the worst defensive team in the league, which is saying something.
Yeah. And then tomorrow, we got the Hornets and the Hawks. The Hawks are a 4.5 point favorite. And we got the Spurs and the Pelicans. The Pelicans are a 5.5 point favorite.
Pelicans are a favorite?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to take the upset here. I'm going to take the Hawks. I think the
Hawks
over
the Hornets.
Yeah, I'm gonna
take. They're 4.5 point favorites.
Oh, you said the Hornets.
Oh, did I? Oh, the Hawks are 4.5 point favorites, and the Pelicans are 5.5 point favorites.
Wait, okay, who's playing who? The Hornets are playing the Hawks, or the Hornets are playing the Pelicans?
The Hornets are playing the Hawks, and the Spurs are playing the Pelicans.
Okay.
And the Pelicans are 5.5 point favorites, and the Hawks are 4.5 point favorites.
Okay. I just realized I hit my mic earlier. Sorry for the noise.
I'm going to take the Hawks over the Hornets because it's an Atlanta team. So,
I'm going to take the Hawks too, just because the sheer fact that Trae Young is a beast in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I think is the Collins of John on the Hawks?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I think
he still is. Yeah. He should be.
Yeah, the Hornets have not done good against good teams this year.
No.
And I think the Hawks will be able to win this game.
Yeah. And plus, the Hawks are probably my second favorite NBA team.
Really?
Well, they're in Atlanta, so.
Well, yeah.
And then, which is sad, but and then I'm going to take the Pelicans over the Spurs. This Spurs team is not built to be good teams. They're just not.
Yeah.
As much as I love Greg Popovich and as good as Jadante Murray has played all year, the Spurs are not going to win.
Yeah.
And I think the Pelicans are going to win.
Yeah, I have the Pelicans too. I think the Pelicans are going to be able to pull it out. Is Zion healthy? Is he going to play?
He should.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think the Pelicans will be able to take this game just because the Spurs have no three-point shooters at all because they never really have since Danny Green.
Yeah.
But I think the Pelicans will be able to eat this one out.
Yeah, they do. And then going to the Western Conference to the first round, you got the Mavericks and the Jazz. I think this is by far the best series in the first round of the Western Conference. I'm actually going to take the Jazz over the Mavericks in 7 games. I think it goes all 7. I'm going to take the Jazz because I love Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
And I don't like Luka quite as much. He's good, but he's overrated. So I'm going to take Donovan
Really?
Mitchell.
You think Luka Doncic is overrated?
Yeah, people think he's like an amazing 3-point shooter. He shoots like 33%.
Well, I think he can. He's really streaky. I think he's really streaky.
Yeah, he is. But I'm gonna take the Jazz in 7.
Yeah. I'm gonna agree with you because I love Donovan Mitchell. He's such a good player, and Rudy Gobert inside, he's just dominant, especially defensively. They have obviously the best player in the league, Joe Ingles.
Yeah, he's a Joe. So
Yeah, exactly. Him and Joe Harris are the 2 elite players in the league.
Oh,
yeah, they have
and
Mike
Jonas. Jonas Valanciunas.
They have Mike Conley. They still have Mike Conley, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert. Mavericks are being carried by Luka Doncic. I think the Jazz will be able to take it. But
right.
I do think Luka will make it really, really difficult to win this series. But I do think the Jazz will be able to pull it out in probably 6 or 7 games.
And the Mavericks have choked the last 2 first rounds.
Yeah,
they have been up 3. They keep going up 2-0, and they seem to get the Clippers every year. And they keep going up like 2-0 and 3-1, and then they lose. So we said the Timberwolves will win. So assuming the Timberwolves played the Grizzlies, damn it, who would you take?
As much as I want to pick the Timberwolves, I'm going to have to take the Grizzlies. They're just the better team.
How many games?
It's tough to say because the Wolves have such good days where they just look elite. If Karl Anthony Towns can go off for 50, or Anthony Edwards can go off for 50, if D'Angelo Russell can play good and consistent, I think the Wolves will really make it difficult for the Grizzlies. I think this is probably as far as the 1 or the 2 seeds go, I think this is the best chance for an upset, but I don't think an upset's going to happen.
I'd say the Nets over the Celtics is probably the best chance for an upset.
Well, yeah, you're probably right.
I don't know if that's an upset, but that's...
It shouldn't be an upset because the Nets have so much talent, but I digress. The Wolves... The Wolves, I want to pick them so much, but I think the Grizzlies are going to take it in 6 games.
Unfortunately, the Timberwolves are going to only have one of those good days, and the Grizzlies are going to win it in 5. Because
6.
the only
at least give us 2.
You get 1.
No,
and if
we get 2.
Keep saying something, I'll knock it down to 4.
We're not getting swept out of that much.
You'll get gentlemen swept.
As soon as I say that, we're probably going to get swept.
You'll get gentlemen swept. This Timberwolves is still a year or 2 away. They're really good, but they're really young. And has any of these players been in the playoffs before besides D'Angelo Russell? Or D'Angelo Russell even been in the playoffs?
Yeah, he has.
Okay.
He was with the Warriors, I think, when they went to the playoffs.
That's right. Okay. But Cat hadn't. No, Cat did 1 year because didn't they play Houston in the first round 1 year?
The Timberwolves?
Yeah, weren't they the 8th seed 2 or 3 years ago?
I honestly can't remember.
I think they were. But anyway, they don't have enough playoff experience. And
they have gobs of young
the
talent.
only way that the Timberwolves can push this thing and make the series a 6 or 7 game series and really push it out on the Grizzlies is if Ja is not 100% when he comes back from this injury.
I don't know. The Grizzlies look good even without Ja.
I know, but I think they can push it if that happens. All right. Raptors and Sixers, which I think is an upset alert right here, possibly waiting to happen. However, I'm going to take the Sixers in 7, but I think that goes the full 7. Raptors are really good, and Pascal Siakam is really good.
Yeah,
and I'm going to take the Sixers in 7 just because they have Joel Embiid and the Raptors do not.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I'm going to take the Sixers too.
And Van Fleet is out too.
Yeah, exactly. That's gonna hurt the Raptors so much. And Joel Embiid is an MVP candidate. He's incredible. He's incredible. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Sixers because they got rid of the cancer known as Ben Simmons, and I'm gonna take the Sixers, and I'm gonna take them in 7. I think the Raptors will be able to push them to 7 games, but we'll see.
Yeah, I do too. And I think Nick Nurse and Doc Rivers are both really good coaches. I'd actually probably give the edge to Nick Nurse, but
I thought you were talking trash about Nick Nurse earlier.
Well, I think he's good, but I don't think Doc is worse. I don't think Doc Rivers can win in the playoffs as much as he could when he was in Boston. Nuggets and Warriors. This depends a lot on Steph Curry's health.
Yeah.
Steph Curry is fully healthy, 100%. Warriors win in 5. If Steph Curry is not 100% healthy, if Steph Curry is 50%, Warriors win in 7. If Steph Curry cannot play at all, Denver wins in 6 or 7. So a lot of scenarios here. But I'm going to assume Steph Curry's 100%. I'm going to take the Warriors at 5.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. This is a really, really tough one because the Nuggets are really good, and Jokic is another MVP candidate. I'm really conflicted on this one because I don't know if Steph Curry is going to be able to stay healthy the whole series.
Yeah, but Clay's looked really good, and Draymond is a key too.
Yeah, he's going to be big on the defensive end, not so much on the offensive end because he can't do anything there. But you know what? I'm going to pick the upset here. I'm going to say the Nuggets win this one in 7 games. I think the Nuggets will be able to pull this one out. I think Joker goes off. I think Michael Porter Jr. has a sneaky good series. I think he'll be able to play really good. I just think that Jokic just takes over the series, and I just don't think Curry will be able to stay healthy the whole series.
Yeah. All right. So moving back to the East, Bulls and Bucks. This is an overrated series. This
Bucks.
Series will not be very good. I got the Bucks sweeping them.
Really?
I think that DeMar DeRozan has got to score at least 35 every game for the Bulls. I think DeMar DeRozan got to score 35 for them to win 1 game. And the Bucks defense is really good. And Drew Holiday's been playing really well this year. He's
obviously
really stepped it up. He's still got Giannis. He's still got Chris Middleton. He's still got Brook Lopez. And as much as I clown about him, Brook Lopez is a pretty solid center, especially scoring and apparently blocking shots. So
we were playing 2K earlier, and Brook Lopez had like 8 blocks in 1 game. He got really pissed.
Yeah, that's realistic. But anyway,
it is.
I'm gonna take the Bucks in 4. I think the Bucks sweep the Bulls.
Yeah, I'm gonna say DeMar DeRozan goes off for 1 game and they get gentlemen swept. I think the Bucks will take it in 5.
Okay. So the Suns, that's to be announced, but I'm gonna say, just as who I think, I'm gonna think the Suns are gonna play the Clippers because I think the Clippers will lose to Minnesota and then win the next one.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say they win. I'm gonna say they play the Clippers, and assuming that happens, Suns in 5.
If that happens, it could be a sweep. It could be just a clean sweep.
It could, but I'm gonna take the Suns in 5.
I'm gonna agree with that too. I'm gonna take the Suns in 5. I think you're right about that. So, really, the only one we differed on was the Nuggets and Warriors series.
Yeah, so we got 2 more. So we got the Heat. They play. That's to be announced, but
yeah,
I'm gonna say the Heat play Cleveland. I'm gonna assume Cleveland loses to Brooklyn
because
the next one.
The Heat's the 1 seed, right?
Yeah, but I'm going to assume that they end up playing Cleveland, and
Cleveland ends up playing Cleveland.
No, Cleveland ends up playing Miami, and I'm going to take Miami in 6.
Yeah, I don't know how good the Heat are really. I think they're a good regular season team. Maybe not so good in the playoffs.
I think Eric Spoelstra.
Yeah, Eric Spoelstra is probably the best coach in the league. He's incredible. But yeah. I'm going to agree with you. I think the Heat win this in 5 or 6 games.
Yeah.
Maybe 7. It just depends on how well Evan Mobley and Darius Garland play.
Yeah.
Because they don't really have the most playoff experience. But
obviously there also could be a scenario where if the Nets lose tonight to Cleveland and then win the next one, they're going to play Miami in the first round. And that's when things could get very hairy for Miami.
Yeah. I don't think that's a good matchup for Miami if they have to play.
No, Boston and Brooklyn. I'm going to take Boston. I'm going to take them in 6.
Yeah,
because Boston is the best defensive team in the NBA by far. I think Robert Williams out makes me less confident in it, but I'm going to take Boston in 6. Boston is the best defensive team in the NBA. Boston has Jason Tatum, who's one of the best young stars in the NBA. They have Al Horford, who's a good paint protector. They have Marcus Smart, who's a really good perimeter player. They have Jaylen Brown, who has consistently scored 25. the Celtics have two closers who can absolutely close. Jason Tatum is one of the top 5 clutchest players in the league right now. And
Bold statement.
No. And it's true. And I think Boston's bench is better. Derek White coming off the bench is a big difference. The Boston Celtics are better in every facet of the game over the Nets, except for one area, and that is that the Nets have Kevin Durant and the Celtics don't. So I think Durant's going to be able to get them 2, but I think Boston will win that series in 6 because I just think Boston right now is just a better team. Brooklyn does not guard. Brooklyn will give up 120 points and maybe even more, maybe 125, which means that puts the pressure on Brooklyn to score at least 130 every single game. I don't think Brooklyn can do that enough against this Celtics defense. I don't think Brooklyn can score 130 points against this Celtics defense for 4 games.
Yeah.
So I think Boston's going to win, and I think I made a pretty compelling case. That's why they will.
You did.
But
it's
a very nerve-wracking case.
Yeah, it is.
It's very nerving.
This for me. This is probably, other than the Nuggets and Warriors, this is probably the toughest game for me to pick because I know you're a Celtics fan, and I'm taking the Nets in 7.
I will say this: I don't think it would be good if it goes to 7 because I don't. As much as I love Jason Tatum, Kevin Durant in a game 7, I don't think that, and Kyrie Irving in a game 7, I don't think favors Boston well. So if Boston does not have a great history in game 7s because in the last few years at least. We had a game 7 against LeBron and the Cavs a few years ago in the Eastern Conference Finals when we had a chance to put him away, and we lost the game in a game that we probably should have won. We just couldn't score at all. But this Celtics team is a lot better scoring. But like I say, I just don't think that the Nets can score 130 points against this Boston defense 4 times. Boston has beaten Brooklyn, I think, 3 out of 4 times over the course of the season. Nets have won 1 game, I think, when Jason Tatum was out. So they have not beaten Boston when Jason Tatum's in. Boston has by far the best defense. And if Robert Williams comes back, I think that Boston.
Yeah, that would be huge.
Yeah, but
that might sway my opinion if Robert Williams is able to come back.
But the chances are no right now. So but like I do say, I think Boston needs to get this over with in 6 and not wait to go to 7 because another thing is if this goes to 7 and let's say Boston beats Brooklyn in 7, Chicago and Milwaukee, who they would play in the second round, well, that series probably isn't going 7. So you're going to give Milwaukee more time to rest if you do that. So I think Boston, for that reason, also needs to try to win this game earlier than make it go 7. Because the longer this series goes on, to me, the more it favors Brooklyn.
Yeah.
This is very similar to me to the Giants and the Dodgers from last year, where the Dodgers are kind of represent the Nets, and the Giants represent the Celtics. The Giants, you felt like that the longer the series went on, if it went to a game 5, that probably didn't favor San Francisco, and that's what ended up happening, and the Dodgers ended up winning. I think this is a similar situation. I think Boston needs to keep this series before a game. They need to win this in game 6 or earlier. Game 4, 5, or 6, they need to close them out, because if they don't, I think it could get really interesting for game 7, but I think Boston's defense is just too good. I don't think Brooklyn can score 130 points against that defense. And Brooklyn, a lot of times, it's a 2-man show, and Boston is a team show, and that's kind of the difference to me. So I like Boston in 6.
Yeah,
but this is by far the toughest and probably the most interesting series in the first round, definitely in the East.
It is, and I have the Nets in 7, but like everything you just mentioned, I think the Nets will be able to push it. I think the Nets will be able to push the Celtics to 7 games. And as you said, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving in a game 7 is a scary sight.
Yeah.
Because Kyrie Irving is one of the most clutchest players in the league.
Yeah.
And he can take over a game with the snap of a finger. And I think the Nets will be able to take the series, which I know that hurts, but
To me, the difference this year, I'm going to continue to make my case.
Okay.
To me, the difference this year is last year when Boston played Brooklyn, they did not have Jaylen Brown. So it forced Jason Tatum to be scoring 40 plus for them to even have a chance to win the game. They had one game where he scored 50 and they won. They won one game.
Yeah.
So Boston is going to have the home court advantage, which I think will really help them because Boston's one of the best teams in the league at winning at home in the TD Garden in Boston. Brooklyn's not very great at winning at home, which is kind of odd. But to me, the difference, and this is honestly the differing factor in the series, is not the defense, it's the bench. Brooklyn does not have a good bench, and outside of Durant and Kyrie, they don't have anybody else who can go out and score 20. Marcus Smart can score 20 if he has to. Derek White can score 15 off the bench. Al Horford can score 15. They have other players who can score. The Nets do not. They have Sam Hauser who can come off the bench. He had 12 points the other night. So they have players who can come off the bench and score. The Nets do not. And now they're going to have Jaylen Brown in the series. And if you have Kevin Durant give you 30 and you have Kyrie give you 30, they combine for 60. But if you have Jason Tatum give you 30 and Jaylen Brown give you 25, the Nets are +5 when it comes to the four stars in the series.
Yeah.
Then it comes down to the bench. And I would favor the Celtics bench a lot more over the Nets bench.
Yeah.
Because the Nets are going to have players play like Blake Griffin, who cannot score 20 points.
Not like he was with the Clippers.
Claxton, who cannot score 20 points. The key to me for the Nets can be Patty Mills in this series. If Patty Mills can score 15 or 16, I think it becomes a problem for the Celtics.
Yeah, because he can knock down threes.
To me, Ben Simmons does not make a ton of difference in this series. I don't think that just adds another
passer.
Is he
going to play?
Yeah, he says he is, but I'm not believing that till the ball goes up and he's on the court. I'm going to favor Boston in 6, though, because I just think Boston is a better team than Brooklyn is. But, the thing you hate about this is Brooklyn is by far the bad guys because Brooklyn – what sucks about this is Boston has rebuilt better than Brooklyn. They have rebuilt better. They traded Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett to get 4 first-round draft picks, which they used to get Tatum, Brown, Marcus Smart, and Robert Williams. And they got Terry Rozier. They got 5 players out of that. The Nets went out and signed 2. The Nets got screwed over there, and the Nets go out and they buy 2, and they get 2 all-stars. And now they have a chance to win a championship. Kind of sucks for Boston. But I think that in sports, unfortunately, the good guy does not always win. So I'm going to favor Boston. I think Boston right now is just a better team than Brooklyn is, and I think that's what it's going to come down to. So I got Boston at 6.
Yeah, you make a compelling case, but I just see the Nets being able to score like at will in some cases, but I just see the Nets being able to outlast them for 7 games and be able to take that 7th game, which that's the key. If Brooklyn can get it to a game 7, they got it.
So who do you have winning the NBA Finals?
Let's talk about that next episode. Right. Let's just do the first round for today.
All right.
We'll talk about the next round and the Western Conference Finals, and then we'll get to the finals eventually.
Sounds good.
All right. Let's move on to Monty Williams winning Coach of the Year for the NBA. How about, well-deserved, obviously.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that one. When you go, what did they go, 64-18?
That's incredible.
The next best team was Memphis, who had a really good year, by the way, and is still 8 games back. Phoenix is 32-9 at home and 32-9 on the road. That's incredible. So, yeah, I can't disagree with that one. Monty Williams deserves it as much as I would have liked to see
Chris Finch win it.
Yeah, maybe. But Eric Spoelstra or somebody like that win it. I think Monty Williams probably deserves it.
Yeah, he deserved it. He's well deserved. It's like winning 64 games in a year is really hard to do.
Yeah, with a roster that is not definitively the best roster in the NBA, I wouldn't say. Phoenix is very good.
They are.
And Phoenix has good talent, but I wouldn't say that Phoenix is definitively the best team. Now,
their best players who? Devin Booker?
Yeah, they got Chris Paul, but he's been in and out of the lineup this year. You got DeAndre Ayton, Cam Johnson. But
he's good.
He is good. Really shoot.
Yeah. I never thought he would be this good in the NBA.
And Cameron Payne. But doesn't mean I think they're going to win the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I think that Monty Williams definitely deserves Coach of the Year. I don't have an argument there.
Mm-hmm. There's no argument there from me either. Yeah. All right. Let's transition into some baseball.
Yeah.
Are the Cubs actually good? Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are. I'm just kidding. They're not. We suck.
Let's
look at the game. Right, we're up 2-0 in the top of the 8th inning against the Pittsburgh Pirates, which we should be up 12-0, but because the Pirates are just that crap.
Let's dissect this a little bit.
Suzuki has 2 homers.
Yeah.
I love it.
Let's dissect this a little bit. Since
we have a better record than the Atlanta Braves.
I
love it.
Yeah, we'll get
see that W?
Yeah, we'll get to that.
That's where it belongs.
Yes, we'll get to that in a minute. But let's dissect this a little bit. So right now, the Cubs lineup, you have Madrigal at second, Nico Horner at short,
pretty good.
Schwindel at first,
man,
Wisdom at third,
not bad.
Suzuki at right field,
pretty good.
I don't know yet. Jason Hayward in right field.
Don't even get me started on him.
Ian Happ will phase out as the year goes on.
He can get so hot and he can bat 0.
Yeah, he'll phase out. And Contreras, and he is either going to have a great year or a terrible year, and we don't know. So we'll see. And you got Ortega, Frazier, Yan Gomes, VR.
Isn't he like 50?
Yeah.
Jonathan VR is an okay player. He's not bad.
The offense is not like the worst you see.
Yeah.
Let's get to the pitching.
Yeah, let's get to the rotation.
Let's get to the pitching. Kyle Hendricks, who throws 88 miles an hour, doesn't work anymore. Marcus Stroman,
he shut down the Brewers earlier.
Not terrible. Who's this? Keegan Thompson.
Oh yeah, him. He's the one that. Who did he hit the other day?
Daniel Norris, who's got an 11.570.
The Keegan Thompson guy was the one that hit Andrew McCutchen the other day and sparked the whole bench clearing stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that who I think it is?
I don't know why, but
Michael Gibbons.
Hey, he's not bad. He's a good movie.
David Robertson.
God, maybe
Ethan Roberts. Rowan Wick.
He's good.
Jesse Chavez. Not good. And Scott Efros.
Oh, God.
Yeah, see, that's
what happened to Jeremy Jeffress? I don't even remember what happened to him. But
I don't know. But anyway, the Cubs will phase out as the year goes on.
We will.
The Braves will get better as the year goes on. We know that will happen.
They better, or that'll be a huge disappointment.
They will get better. It's a process. We know that from last year. They didn't get above 500 till September. It's a process. It's a slow thing. We like to go slow. I don't know why, but we like to go slow. Once we do, we're unstoppable. We don't get beat once we turn it on. But until we do, we can lose 11-2 to the Nationals, a bottom 5 team. So
we'll get to that a little bit later. Just a little bit later.
Yeah, we will.
All right.
Are the Cubs good? No, they'll face out.
Yeah, they will. Even that pains me to say as a Cubs fan, but it looks like we're going to start the year 3-1 with. Yes, thank you. All right, let's move on to the top 5 sports moments in our lifetime.
We're really excited about this one.
Yeah, we've been planning this for months.
I'll let you go first.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay, let's start out with some honorable mentions. And I have 4 of them, and I have the first honorable mention being in 2011, Dirk Nowitzki carrying the Mavericks to a title, which was just an incredible run, beating LeBron and D-Wade in the Heat, which they absolutely choked that series. But we don't have to say anything about LeBron choking. Everybody knows that. And my second honorable mention is Kobe Bryant scoring 60 points in his final game, which I remember being in Coach Height's class that day, our science teacher. I remember going into class that morning and everybody was talking about it. And I just remember Coach Height telling us, he was telling us, well, of course he was going to score 60, shot 30 times, which is true.
Yeah.
But we don't have to talk about that. It was
He's not
incredible.
wrong. He shot about 35% from the field in the game.
That's okay. We don't have to talk about that.
Made all his free throws.
And absolutely no bias in this one. My third honorable mention is the Minneapolis Miracle. In 2017, we are in U.S. Bank Stadium. We're playing the Saints. We blew a 17-0 lead at halftime. But I don't have to talk about that. Anyway, we'll get to your top five. And this is just an honorable mention, right? This is not in my top five. But yeah, the Minneapolis Miracle, we blew a 17-0 lead from the half, and we go where there's like, I don't know how many seconds there were. There was like 8 seconds left or something, and Case Keenum just absolutely just bombs one to Stephon Diggs. And Marcus Williams, the safety for the Saints, just absolutely craps the bed and just lets Stephon Diggs just get loose, and we're able to win the game and get destroyed by the Eagles in the next round.
Yeah.
38-7. How could you do that? But I don't. And then my last honorable mention is the 2017 North Carolina Tar Heels Redemption Tour. When Chris Jenkins hit that shot to win the game for Villanova, my heart exploded. And I didn't think we would get back to the title the next year. I really did not think we were going to be able to. I thought we were going to be really, really good. But since we were losing Marcus Page and Bryce Johnson, I just didn't think we were going to be able to get back to the title that year. But we start off beating Texas Southern by like 50. Then we play Arkansas, and we barely win. We play Butler, and we win by like, 12?
Yeah.
We play Kentucky, and Luke May hits one of the clutchest shots I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And then we play Oregon, where Kennedy Meeks had one of the most dominant games as far as
like 8 offensive rebounds.
Yeah, he was absolutely insane that game. And then we play Gonzaga in the title game, and the story of the game was Meeks against Karnowski, which Meeks absolutely won that. And I was just so happy when we won that, because
shot 4 for 27 from the 3 and still won.
In that game we shot 4 for 27. I did not even know that. How the hell did we win that game? But anyway, the moral of the story is we won, and that's my last honorable mention.
Yep.
Now let's get into my top 5 top memorable sports moments from my lifetime, anyway, that I've seen. And number 5 just happened really recently. North Carolina beats Duke in the Final Four for Coach K's last game to send him off into the sunlight. That was one. All bias aside, if I was just not even a fan of either team, you could objectively say that was one of the best basketball games that you've ever seen. Going back, that game was so back and forth through the whole game. It was just back and forth. It was crazy. And then when Caleb Love hits that 3 to go up by 4, that was one of the most stones, onions shots that I've ever seen, to quote Bill Raptor. That was just one of the most insane shots I've ever seen. And I really hope Caleb Love comes back next year. Number 4, because we don't have to talk about what happened in the title game. Number 4, the Giants beating the Patriots and the David Tyree helmet catch. That's my number 4. When I remember this game, I was 6 years old when this happened. This was one of my earlier sports memories. I remember watching that game, and when David Tyree caught that ball over Rodney Harrison, I honestly did not. I did not believe what I was watching. My 6-year-old self did not know what was going on, and that was one of the best catches, other than the Odell Beckham Jr. catch, that I've ever seen. And because the Patriots were going into that game undefeated.
Yeah,
they went 18-0 or 17-0. I can't remember.
I think
Probably 18-0, right?
I think 18, yeah.
Yeah, and we have Eli Manning to thank for Tom Brady not winning 9 Super Bowl rings.
He'll get it next year.
Or, well, we have him and Nick Foles to thank for not letting him get 10.
No, we have Bill's defense to thank.
Okay, well, yeah, you got a point. Because Tom Brady threw for like 500 yards.
He's still lost.
Okay, moving on, number 3. It's 28-3. And I had to put it at number 3. I'm sorry, Falcons fans, but this was the best comeback I've ever seen. Like, I know it wasn't the biggest comeback ever, but since it's in the Super Bowl against the league MVP and Matt Ryan, who had played really well up to that point. And keep in mind, this was like only a couple minutes left to go in the third quarter when they were up 28-3. And Tom Brady leads the Patriots on an absolutely unbelievable comeback and ends up winning the game in overtime. The Falcons don't even get a chance to get the ball back. Winning the Super Bowl, being down 25 points, it's incredible. You got to put it up there. I'm sorry, Falcons fans, once again.
And the defense. Patriots defense was really good in the second half, too.
Yeah, it was. You got to give Bill that one.
Towards the end of that game when Julio Jones made that catch, and then they were in field goal range, and they pushed them out of field goal range.
That was insane.
Yeah.
Number 2, I have one of the most exciting moments that has probably ever happened in football, college football, that is, which was the Iron Bowl kick 6. And Chris Davis, who was, I mean, I had heard of him for playing for Auburn, but he wasn't really like the most popular player on Auburn.
He's a good returner.
Yeah, he was a good returner. And, well, he showed his returning skills on that one. The kick 6 in the Iron Bowl, which, I mean, I remember watching this on TV, and I'm not even a fan of Auburn or Alabama. I don't even like either team.
This is like towards the beginning of Alabama's dominance.
Yeah.
And now everybody hates them.
This was when AJ McCarron was their quarterback, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And their kicker obviously misses that field goal. He kicks it short, and then Chris Davis takes it out of the back of the end zone and ends up scoring a touchdown off of missed field goal attempt, which one of the most electrifying and exciting moments. You have to admit that. Yeah. I was jumping out of my seat, just wow. That was amazing. That was incredible. And number 1, the best sports moment that has happened in the last 108 years. The Cubs winning the World Series in 2016. When the Cubs won this, because I've been a fan of the Cubs since as long as I can remember. I've been a fan. Yeah, see. And I've been a fan, gosh, since I was like 7 or 8 years old. And I just remember watching Alfonso Soriano being the only good player on our team.
Don't forget about Darwin.
He was a good fielder.
And Barney.
Yeah, and Starlin Castro and Giovanni Soto.
Beautiful.
Carlos Zambrano.
I did wonder why they didn't win it for 108 years. You have players like that.
Hey, we had Ernie Banks in between it.
That's true.
Yeah. And and a couple other good players, and a few really good teams. But
Cubs had good players. But...
Yeah, we've always had good players, good teams, but we've sucked for a long time up to this point. And in 2015 was when it really turned around. Was when we called up Chris Bryant. That was the game changer. When he was called up, it just took off. And Jake Arrieta had an incredible year in 2015, which he won the Cy Young. He had a sub-2 ERA. He was absolutely incredible. We had John Lester and Kyle Hendricks when he was actually good. And in 2015, this was where my hatred for the Mets started, because we make it all the way to the NLCS and we get gentlemen swept.
By the Mets?
Yes. We got swept by the Mets.
Then they lost to the Royals. So.
Yeah, which made my year. That's when my hatred for the Mets started.
My hatred for the Mets has always been there.
Yeah, as you can tell from the
Just-
Acuna jersey.
They're just a cocky franchise. They seem to think they're so good, and they've won, 2 World Series.
Yeah.
Had one of the worst records in baseball, and they won 30-some games one year. Please.
Giraffe Nick Mark, if you're watching this, no
No, the
hate
Mets.
directed to you.
Yeah, well, no, the Mets are not winning the World Series this year.
He's not going to watch this.
No, but if he does, he will one day. If he does, the Mets are not winning the World Series. DeGrom keeps getting hurt, and Jeff McNeil is overrated, and Lindor is overrated, and you overpaid him.
And then the next year, we have one of the best teams historically of all time. We have one of the best teams of all time. Just incredible run differential. We had 3 guys in the infield in the All-Star game. We had the first baseman, shortstop, and third baseman, and it was Anthony Rizzo, Chris Bryant, and Addison Russell. I don't know how the heck he made that All-Star appearance, but anyway,
Avi too.
I don't think he made the All-Star game.
No, I know, but he's still on that team.
Yeah, he was.
And Ben Zobrist.
Yeah, Ben Zobrist was good for us. He was such a good player for
And
us.
Schwarber.
Yeah, and Schwarber.
And Soler.
I don't know. No, Schwarber tore his ACL in spring training.
Oh, but you did have Soler, didn't you?
Yeah, but he really didn't do much.
Okay, well.
I wish we kept him now. Damn.
He
But
goes off to
anyway.
the World Series.
But anyway, we won 100 and some games that year. Excuse me. And we play the Giants, I believe, in the NLDS. Excuse me again. We play the Dodgers in the NLCS, and we absolutely wiped the floor with them. I think we win 5 games or 6. I think it was 6 games.
Braves were in rebuilding mode at this point, by the way.
Yeah,
They won 66 games.
Yeah. They come around in a year or two after this.
We're back.
And
we flipped the script on the Cubs now.
And then playing the Indians, we get first off, we have to deal with Joe West as our umpire, and absolutely wrecked game 1 for us. Corey Kluber got the most calls I've ever seen in my life. But anyway, we come back from a 3-1 deficit, which
game 2, Josh Tomlin.
Huh?
Was it Josh Tomlin in one of those games? Did he start? Because it was a
Josh Tomlin.
game.
Yeah, we lit him up. I think.
He played pretty well against Bauer too.
Yeah, we did. That was back when he was still kind of developing a little bit.
Yeah, he was still pretty good though.
Yeah, he was. And
that's what Cleveland was always good, was their pitching.
Yeah, they're still good there.
Yeah.
And we come back from a 3-1 deficit, and then in Game 7 was arguably the greatest baseball game.
Best game I've ever seen.
That was and that's coming from a Braves fan, by the way.
He was not a Cubs fan.
Yeah.
Too many bandwagons.
Yeah. At least you know I'm not a bandwagon.
Yeah, but too many.
Yeah, it's okay. They're all gone now.
Yeah, they come to the Braves now.
Yeah, and
the Mets.
God, I don't know who would bandwagon fan the Mets.
No,
Not me.
Not me.
If you're gonna bandwagon somebody, at least do somebody good, like
Yeah.
the Yankees or the Astros or the Dodgers or the Braves.
Yeah.
Don't do the Mets. They're just gonna Mets everything up like they always do.
Mark's podcast is called the Mets Up Podcast. It's ironic.
Yeah. But yeah, coming back and then Game 7, oh my gosh, that was incredible. And when Rajai Davis hits that game tying home run in the 8th or 9th inning, I think.
Yeah.
I thought we were just going to blow it then. I thought Chapman was just going to get murdered.
That
by
is
Chicago.
That is the most Cubs thing you can see, is giving up to home run to Rajai Davis.
Yeah.
Even Chapman couldn't.
Prime Aroldis Chapman.
Even Chapman couldn't escape the Billy Goat and the Black Cat curses.
No, he couldn't.
Even Chapman, but then Ben Zobrist shut him down.
We get out of that. Chapman gets out. Credit to him. He gets out of the inning. It's tied. We go into the 10th inning. There's a rain delay, and from a couple of reports, Jason Hayward holds a team meeting, which this was his first year with the team, and he holds a team meeting and really takes on the leadership role and gets everybody ready to go out there for extra innings. And we obviously go out there and we get a guy on base and we pinch hit. No, Schwarber gets on base and we pinch run Albert Almora Jr., which is a lot faster than Kyle Schwarber. And then who is it? Rizzo gets another hit, and then Zobrist drives in Almora, and then Montero comes up to Miguel Montero, who I had ripped all year, but he had a clutch hit against the Dodgers at Grand Slam. And then he gets this hit to put the Cubs up 2. I don't know.
Yeah, they went
he
up
puts them
8-6.
up 1.
No, didn't they go up? Because Ben Zobrist put them up 7-6, and then I think they went up 8-6.
Yeah, he put them up.
Rajay Davis got the RBI in the bottom of the 10th to make it 8-7.
Yeah, that's right. And then Mike Montgomery comes into the game. And then I don't remember who the Indians hitter was. He was a switch hitter. I think his last name was Martinez.
Yeah.
And he hits a ground ball, which this was a tough play for Chris Bryant. This was
the Cubs, that's going in the third row.
Yeah, he was going to throw it into the third row.
Be a fourth error.
Bryant makes the play, and that was one of the best moments personally that I've ever had. Like, that was an incredible moment for any Cubs fan ever.
It was a
huge moment for baseball.
It was incredible. It was something that you felt like when you went to sleep that it wasn't even real.
Exactly. It felt like I was in a dream. Because being a Cubs fan, you're just used to losing.
This is the Cubs.
Yeah, this is the Cubs. We're not used to winning that much.
No.
And winning the World Series after coming back from a 3-1 deficit, I never thought in a million years we would be able to do that. But we pulled it off, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
Now, let's move on to Jacob's top 5.
Yeah, so there's absolutely
Get ready for this bias.
There's absolutely no bias in this.
Yeah.
So let's start with the honorable mentions, which definitely don't have any bias in them. So the first one is Tua comes in and beats Georgia when they're down 13-0 in the title game in 2017. The reason this is an honorable mention, first of all, Tua was a freshman, and Georgia was up 13-0, but they had dominated that game in the first half. And Tua comes in, they end up winning the game 26-23. That's an honorable mention. Astros-Dodgers World Series, specifically Game 5, is, to me, a great moment. I don't care that the Astros cheated. That was an incredible game. Kansas City winning the World Series in 2015 with one of the worst hitting teams to ever win it. Never seen a team ride a defense and a bullpen to a World Series. That's basically what the Royals did.
I'm starting to see a pattern here.
And they won, and they ended up winning the World Series. Incredible. Next honorable mention is UNC's redemption tour. Once again, Chris Jenkins. If you're a Carolina fan,
we don't like the name Chris.
I didn't cry. I wasn't sad. I wasn't happy.
I just felt.
I didn't feel nothing after that game,
yeah.
And I still felt nothing based after that.
Yeah,
I'm not sad about it. I'm not mad about it. I
just
don't even know what to say.
It just gives you an empty feeling.
Yeah, and even though they came back and won it the next year, still that sucked.
Because you could argue that team was better than the one that won the title.
Okay, so keep in mind these last 3. This is not bias. This is just great moments. Acuna's 2019 year when he hit 40. How many home runs did he have? 42, I think. I mean, listen to these numbers by this man. I mean, just listen to these numbers.
It's not like there's a jersey up there.
41 home runs, 37 stolen bases. He almost had a 40-40 year. We don't have to worry about the on-base percentage. But anyway.
No, read it.
No, that's okay. Actually, I can't even scroll over. Oh, there it is. On-base percentage was 365. He had a 280 average. A star was born that year. Star was born. Next is when Tyler Matzik struck out the side against the Dodgers this year when he struck out Pujols, Souza, and Mookie Betts. That's a top 10 moment of all time. I mean, you'll never see another pitching moment like that. I mean, this is Atlanta. This is Atlanta sports team. Atlanta is not a professional championship sports town at all. So Matzik shut it down. He went from electrician to legend. And the next one is when the Celtics signed Kevin Garnett and traded for Ray Allen and won a title in 2008. And we still have Rajon Rondo. No bias here.
Absolutely.
Number 5 is UNC beating Duke in the Final Four this year.
Yes.
We sent Coach K home. That was a great. It's not just that we sent Coach K home. That was an incredible game to watch. And Caleb Love, that shot he hit at the end with 25 seconds left.
Put us up 4.
That was just like a shot in the chest to Coach K. Like, go home.
Man.
Number 4 is the Patriots comeback 28-3. He touched on a lot of these. But anyway, 28-3. That just, to me, that shut down all the conversations about Joe Montana's better than Tom Brady. He's not. Number 3, Cavs win the 2016 finals after trailing 3-1. They had to win 2 times in a building where the Warriors, I think, had lost 2 games all year. I think they were 39-2 in Golden State. Steph Curry averaged 30 points a game over the course of the season. Klay Thompson shot like 46%. Back when Draymond could play offense. Yeah, you remember that?
Nope.
Probably not. Averaged 14 points a game that year. LeBron came in.
Did he shoot 38% from 3?
Yeah. After the Cavs did not show up for games 1 and 2 at all. They didn't show up. They looked awful in games 1 and 2. I thought they would win 1 in Golden State. They lost both. Usually if you lose both and you're a team that doesn't have a home court advantage, you're not going to do too well because you want to win one of the 2 that you got in their building. They didn't do either one of those. They come back in game 3. They win by 30 in Cleveland. Cleveland wins by 30 at home. Kyrie Irving plays great after Kyrie Irving played terrible in games 1 and 2. Game 4, Golden State in the second half absolutely shuts Cleveland down. One of the most dominant defensive halves that I've ever seen from a team.
Yeah.
Iguodala was unbelievable in the second half. Steph Curry probably had his best game
I
of the
want
finals.
Iguodala.
Steph Curry probably had one of his best games of the entire finals in Game 4. Golden State goes up 3-1. Game 5, Kyrie Irving scores 41. LeBron scores 41. The first time 2 players had ever on the same team have ever scored 40-plus points in a finals game.
They were so good together.
Cleveland goes on to win and win by 15. Game 6, LeBron, another great game. They get 30-plus. And Cleveland rolls in Game 6. Game 7, one of the great games that you'll ever see once again. Steph Curry, 1 for 5 from 3 in the fourth quarter, 1 for 6 from the field, threw a behind-the-back pass in the middle of the quarter. Just shows once again why you should take Iguodala to take the last shot over Steph Curry all the time.
Yeah, I guess Max Kellerman was right.
He is right. Klay Thompson disappeared. Draymond Green had 32 in the game. They did not find him at all in the fourth quarter. LeBron had a triple-double. Kyrie had the shot of his life. Kyrie should have been the finals MVP in that series, not LeBron, but that's another story for another day.
Maybe.
Yeah, he should have. Number 2, this is 1A and 1B right here.
Okay. I think I know where you're going.
I've changed my mind.
Oh,
Okay, I've changed my mind. Number 2 is the Cubs winning the World Series.
Are you serious?
Listen, the Cubs winning the World Series. Great moment.
100 years.
Not as great as we'll get to that. Not as great as number 1, though. I mean, there's no bias here at all. But the Cubs winning the World Series, it was an incredible moment. Game 7 is the greatest game I've ever seen in baseball. The Cubs had so many chances to blow that game. They had 3 errors in Game 7. They let Rajai Davis hit a home run, not Jose Ramirez, not Lindor, not Santana.
Nope.
It was Rajai Davis who hit the home run and tied it after Joe Madden's horrible managing in Games 5 and 6 of leaving Chapman in to pitch like 30 pitches. He's pitched like 60 pitches the last 2 games.
Yeah, Chapman was exhausted.
Even when they were up by like 4 or 5 runs, he still pitched in, which to me didn't make any sense. Of course, the Cubs didn't have a great bullpen, so I kind of understand that, but still
he was only really good reliever.
Not a great decision. And in extra innings, the rain delay happened, so you feel like not only is the baseball gods against the Cubs, Mother Nature is against the Cubs too, because there's a rain delay. And the Cubs come out in the 10th inning, and you say they're going to fold because all the momentum is on Cleveland's side, and Cleveland's going to come in here and they're going to win. And imagine the amount of heartbreak that would be for the Cubs if they got to Game 7 and lost on a Rajai Davis home run.
But that's when Jason Hayward stepped up.
Yeah, Jason Hayward has the speech in the locker room,
The
team meeting or whatever it was. And the Cubs end up winning the game after you have Zobrist's big hit, which to me was the moment when Ben Zobrist hit it.
That's when we won.
I think that's when the game, I was like, the Cubs are going to win this. It's theirs to lose at this point. If they lose this game, maybe there really is a curse. But in the end, the Cubs win it. Unbelievable. Number one, greatest moment in my sports life is when the Braves won the 2021 World Series. Now, let me lay this out for you. Let me picture this out.
I'm out.
Let me picture this. The Braves start the year 0-4 against the Phillies. 0-4, okay?
That's 4 games
We're
out of
one
162.
We're one game below 500 going into the All-Star break. We don't get above 500 until September. We win 88 games. We won 88 and 73. I guess we decided not to play one game. I don't know what happened there. But we go in. Everybody talked about, the Brewers and the Braves, the most boring series. You're right. It was the most boring series because we beat the Brewers in 5 games. So it was the most boring series. You're right. Everybody was right.
Yeah, and the Brewers didn't get anything going offensively.
And Game 1, we lose. Game 2, we win. Jock Peterson's Jocktober 3-run blast. We win. Game 2. Game 3, we win.
You're welcome for him, by the way.
And Game 4, actually, we got him from the Dodgers. So no, we did get him from the Cubs.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Game
So I guess
4,
you could say the Cubs won the Braves the World Series.
I don't think Jock Peterson was there. He would have won the series against the Brewers anyway.
I'm just kidding.
No. After that, Freddie Freeman's home run against Josh Hader in the 8th inning.
Didn't you say he was average? Freddie?
No, Freddie's the second best first baseman. We love Freddie.
It's not what I heard earlier.
It's a love-hate relationship, okay?
It's complicated.
It's complicated right now. Me and him are trying to work things out. We're DMing, but we're texting back and forth. We're going to work it out. Don't worry.
Just go to a counselor already.
Yeah, we need to. We're going to work it out. But anyway.
It's good to get thoughts and feelings out.
I agree. Well, we'll get them here in a minute. But Freddie Freeman off Josh Hader, who to me is the best closer in baseball. Josh Hader comes in. Freddie Freeman with the home run in the 8th inning, and the Braves close it out. Then we move on to the Dodgers. The Braves have a horrible history against the Dodgers. Everybody has a horrible history against the Dodgers, but Braves specifically, 2017. But
hey, we beat in 2016. That's all that matters.
Yeah, the Braves specifically, after losing in 2018 to the Dodgers, we lose in 2019 to the Cardinals. And then
how could you do that?
I don't know. They had Marcel. So Marcel hit 400 and
that's
3 homers in that series. And then we went out and got him.
How could you do that?
I don't know. Because we had Fulte on the mound.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then after this, we play the Dodgers, the best team on paper. Well, yeah. Well, maybe. But
not this year.
Not anymore. But this game, we went out with 2 walk-offs, one by Austin Riley. Rosario was in game 2. Austin Riley hit the one to left field in game 1.
Yeah.
And Eddie Rosario right up the middle. Trey Turner couldn't field it because Trey Turner's a bad fielder. And Braves go up 2-0. Game 3. Oh, gosh. This game angered me. This game really angered me. Because game 3, the Braves go up 5-2. The Dodgers are dead in the water in that game. And it looks like the Braves are going to go up 3-0. Here comes Cody Bellinger, who batted 165, hit like 4 home runs, comes up here and jacks a 3-run homer. To be able to hit the ball head level When it's coming at your head and hit it that far, that is just pure hitting talent.
It is.
He's so talented of a hitter,
He is.
and he's still terrible. It's amazing to me. How do you go
He's
from
just so
being how do you
inconsistent.
go from being the MVP to being maybe the worst hitter in baseball? It's incredible to me. But anyway,
I don't know. You could argue Jason Hayward's the worst hitter in baseball.
not this year, not right now. He's not.
He's batting 370 or something.
I don't know if Cody Bellinger's got a hit.
Yeah, I think he's batting triple zeros.
I think so too. He struck out. Last time I looked, of the 16 at bats, he struck out 11 times.
Jesus.
So after that, Mookie Betts singles, and the Dodgers end up winning the game 6-5 after Kenley Jansen comes in and closes. Feels bad enough for us where he decides to come to a winning team. Because he knows the Dodgers they're just not going to win anymore. They just knows that. But anyway,
Dave Roberts didn't guarantee a World Series this year.
Dave Roberts is the most overrated manager in baseball. I'm sorry. The man has had the best team on paper in baseball since 2018 and has won one in a pandemic year. He hasn't even won one in a regular formatted playoff. He's won one in 2020. So, no, he's not.
Yeah,
He's overrated.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, we go to game, what are we at, 4? Rosario almost hits for the cycle. He has a double, a triple, and a homer. He homers in the 9th. He didn't get the cycle, but he homers in the 9th. That's okay. It's okay. We win the game 9-2. Now we go to game. Well, we don't want to talk about game 5. We lost 11-2.
Yeah, we can skip that.
We can skip that one.
Hey, 11-2. Isn't that familiar?
Chris Taylor banks out 3 home runs. AJ Pollock hits a home run. Thanks. No thanks. Now, here we go to game 6. The greatest moment this is kind of like a Cubs moment.
Explain yourself.
This is equivalent to that because think about
Explain yourself.
This is like a Cubs moment. We have the Dodgers have runners. First of all, we have Eddie Rosario because Dave Roberts, the best manager, left in Walker Buehler to face Eddie Rosario, and he hits a 3-run bomb. It's 4-1. Now, we go to the 7th. I think it was the 7th inning. But anyway, Dodgers have runners on 2nd and 3rd. I think it's Bellinger on 2nd and Pollock. No, Bellinger on 3rd and Pollock on 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
And you have Albert Pujols coming up the bat, one of the best hitters of all time, comes up, throws a low slider, or low curveball, in the dirt.
Still, though, Albert Pujols is like 50 years old.
Yeah, but still, it's still scary. But
No, it's not.
It is. Pujols comes up, Matzik strikes him out, then we got Steven Souza. I mean, you talk about a slugger. We had Steven Souza get struck out. I mean, these strikeouts, man. And then
My dog could strike out Steven Souza. And she's 11 years old.
Okay, but then he strikes out Mookie Betts.
Okay, that's impressive.
Okay. Mookie Betts is one of the best hitters in baseball.
Yeah.
And he comes up to the plate and throws 3 fastballs at him and says, "Here's my best stuff." Mookie Betts couldn't hit it. Braves get out of it. That was the Dodgers' chance in the 7th inning. After that 7th inning and the Dodgers couldn't score, the game was over.
Yeah.
Matzik comes out. He gets 6 straight outs. He gets 6 straight batters. Will Smith comes in, closes. Let's go to the World Series against the Astros. Astros just never had a chance.
Yeah, y'all won in 6.
Yeah. Braves won game 1 6-2. I think it was 6-2. Game 2, we don't got to talk about game 2. Game 3, Braves win 2-0. We carry a no-hitter into the 8th inning, I think.
Who was
Combined no-hitter? Ian Anderson.
That's right.
I don't know what happened to that this year. But anyway, then we go into game 5. Game 5, yeah. Game 5 trying to go up 3-1. Altuve hits a home run in that game. Dansby comes up. This is why it's a love-hate relationship with him, too. We probably need to get me and him probably need to
This
go
would be game 4 then.
This would be game 4. Wouldn't it? Yeah, it would. Okay, game 4. Dansby comes up. Me and him need to go to a counselor, too, probably.
Mm.
And he comes
Got
up.
the love triangle going on here.
2-1. No. And then comes up ties the game at 2 with a opposite field home run to right field, and then comes solar power. And Jack's one, Alvarez runs into the fence, and the Braves take the lead.
Would have been nice for the Cubs to have him.
And Eddie Rosario, by the way, makes an unbelievable catch there in the next inning to get out Altuve. Game's over. We go up 3-1. Game 5, don't got to talk about it. Lost 9-5. It happens. Game 6. Jorge Solares says it was 446. I don't believe that. That went over the train tracks. That thing was mad. That thing was murdered.
Yeah.
Out to left field.
He should have been put in prison for that.
Yeah. And then Dansby hits another home run. How are you the Astros? You let Dansby hit 2 home runs in a series. Dansby hits a home run. And Freddie, in his last at-bat with the Atlanta Braves, hits a homer. That's a good moment. And the Braves win 7-0 over the Astros. I mean, that's a Cubs moment. I mean, that is a Cubs moment. A team in Atlanta. Atlanta's not a professional sports town.
Y'all won a World Series in the 90s. Get over it.
We also won like 14 straight National League East that never seemed to win it. But anyway.
1908. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, well, that's your problem.
Hey.
And now the Braves, in an Atlanta team that was not even 500 in September, wins the World Series. Greatest moment I've ever seen. Greatest moment.
Nope.
If the Braves win it this year, I mean, it could go to number 2. I mean, the Braves may win it this year. We could win the next, 5. We've got Acuna locked up for 6. But you can't lose to the Nationals. You can't do that. Okay, that's it.
We'll
that's
get to that.
5. Not biased.
Now let's get to
not biased.
Absolutely no bias.
No bias.
All right. We had to move because of recent events. We had to move HOFS Hot Moment to Tuesday, and we'll have David Unleashed on Thursday. But let's get into it. Take over. Go to HOFS Hot Moment.
Okay, so keep in mind we were just talking about last year's Braves team. Let's talk about this year's Braves team now, which might be even worse. By the way, the Nets are up 15-9. The Braves. Let's talk about them last night. What the hell happened, Braves? Listen. What happened in that game? I just don't understand how you lose a game 11-2. You don't get a hit for 7 innings. I mean, you let the Nationals get 15 hits. 15, and this is my favorite part. This is the best part of it all. Cesar Hernandez goes 2 for 5. This is the best one. This is the best. Maikel Franco goes 4 for 5 with a homer, has 2 singles, and a double. He was a triple away from a cycle against us. Thanks. Nelson Cruz goes 1 for 4. Soto goes 1 for 4. We didn't even play that bad against Soto, but
He got on base 3 times.
That's just bound to happen. Who's this? Lane Thomas. Lane Thomas goes 2 for 5. Josh Bell goes 2 for 5. Is that who I think? Keibert Ruiz goes 1 for 5. Who's this? Yadiel Hernandez goes 2 for 3. Let's look at the Braves. Austin Riley, 0 for 4. Matt Olson, 0 for 2. He did get on base twice, though, so I'll take that. Albies, 1 for 4. Ozuna, 2 for 4. That'll work. Duval, 1 for 4. Of course, he didn't do anything. Rosario, 0 for 3. Rosario is hitting 0.59 right now. Get it together. Swanson, just skip it. Manny Pena,
No, don't skip Swanson.
0 for 3, and Arcia 0 for 3. Swanson, I don't even have words for you. Let's talk about Huascar. Why don't we? Huascar, please. Giving up 7 hits in 3 innings. He's now got a 15 ERA. 15? You threw 72 pitches in 3 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Spencer Strider, 3 hits, 1 run in 3 1/3, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. That's fine. Tucker Davidson. Oh boy. 5 hits, 5 runs, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts in 2 2/3 innings. This is the Nationals. This is the Nationals. This is the guaranteed last place team in the National League East. You lose 11-2. 11-2. And all I hear and against Josh Rogers. Josh Rogers. That's what we're doing with this? Okay. Tonight we got Patrick Corbin against it's already started. I'm sorry. We got Patrick Corbin against Bryce Elder. So come on, Braves, get it together. Tomorrow we got Max Fried and Josiah Gray. If we can't beat Josiah Gray and Patrick Corbin has turned into one of the worst pitchers in the league. Beat him. If you do not beat him, Jacob will be very unhappy.
Well,
then we
might have to move HOFS HOT Moment to Thursday.
We might just have to make a special segment of two of Unleashed and HOFS HOT Moment.
Probably, yeah.
Anyway, that may happen quite a bit because Anyway, that's all for HOFS HOT Moment. 2 for 3 Braves right now. The Mets have a better record than you. This is unacceptable.
It is.
Snicker, get it together. Ron Washington, get it together. And stop sending Matt Olson. Stop telling him to run. Tell him to stop. He's slow. Okay, that's it.
Early when we were watching the game, remember when Ozzie Albies and Ron were talking, and it looked like Ozzie was kind of pissed at Ron?
Yeah.
I think that's what they were talking about.
Yeah, how you sent Matt Olson got thrown out twice. Almost got thrown out
He was like,
last
"Stop
night.
sending Matt Olson to home."
Stop sending him, Ron. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in to HOFS HOT Moment, and that was entertaining. Let's get into some final takes here. What do you got?
The Nets are up 17-13. The Braves, what are they doing right now? Top of the first. Oh, Nationals already have Cesar Hernandez is already on base. Great start.
I guess he's an all-star this year.
Great start. Curry should return to Warriors practice this week, so that's certainly a good sign
big
for Golden State. That's pretty much all I've got. Durant thinks Embiid should be the MVP too. I do too. I agree.
The only thing I have to say is Karl Anthony Towns stopped acting like a little, and beat the Clippers. Please beat the Clippers. Win a playoff game.
I hope they lose.
Why? I want the Wolves to win, man. We haven't won nothing. Just beat the Clippers.
It don't matter. I don't like the LA team, so I like the Wolves to win.
And the only other thing I have to say is the Minnesota Wild are still good, so keep doing your thing on the ice. Keep your shtick on the ice. Shout out to Troy Dan. What?
He'll watch this.
Yeah, he will.
Block me.
Thank you for making me stutter. Study? What? Anyway, thank you for tuning into the 5th edition of The Stove. My name is David. This is Jacob.
Keep your stick on the ice.
And we'll see you all on Thursday.